And welcome back to today's panel discussion on marketing. The marketing debate, AI. So AI has obviously been revolutionizing many industries, none more so than the marketing and communications industries. Here to discuss this and some of the new products that we can use to help us do our jobs better, I have a great panel line up. To my extreme left, we have Sherry Stepp, Marketing Manager at Kaizen Corporation. Next to her, we have Pierre-Jean Concolon from Semtech.
Morning, Trevor.
Morning. Next to him, we have Raquel Madureira from Critical Manufacturing.
Thank you for...
And then we have Deb Geiger next to me from Aegis Corporation.
Good morning.
Okay, so that's quite a lineup there, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get straight into the first question that I've got prepared here, and that is the AI tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney, and Jasper are streamlining content creation, but do they risk making marketing messages feel a little bit less authentic? And how can brands strike a balance between efficiency and genuine human connection? That's a great one to start you with, Sherry.
It's keeping in the perspective that this is a tool.
Right.
It is not a replacement for creativity. It's not a replacement for information. It's what you feed it will give it back to you. So, but as far as using it, I'm getting off the question a little bit, but if you train the AI, you get what you get back. You put all the information in that you want to kind of start. So, and then it takes the human to go through and read everything and make sure that what's coming back to you is authentic.
Yeah,
you never let it go out unchecked.
Yeah. Well, so what you're really saying is you put the input in, but you have to know what you're talking about so that when it comes back, it might come back with a few extra ideas that you hadn't thought of, but you have to know what you're talking about to be able to verify the veracity of that and the accuracy of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any thoughts on that, Pierre?
So I think, as mentioned by Sherry, it's a tool. It's a very useful tool to use AI in our work in marketing. Indeed, it's self-learning, so the more you feed, the more you would get accurate. Prompting the right question is also critical. So that we are learning how to use AI tools better for our job, but really the prompting is a key one, because you have to tell the AI how you want the AI to work for you. Yeah. But the human can't be removed. All the creativity is still human.
Yes, absolutely.
And the check is critical as well.
Yeah. So you got to look at it as an assist rather than using it as a primary message. How do you employ it, Raquel?
I think that it lacks, no doubt, it lacks in authenticity. And you see it in social media, unfortunately, especially on LinkedIn. That is the tool that I use the most. I can clearly tell when a post was written by AI,
right,
and you just really copy-pasted it. Since we are using that, everyone can, or people that use it the most can easily understand. That's missing the human touch.
Yes.
That's missing because it can create the content, but the connectivity, the connection,
right,
still human.
You're absolutely right. And I find it's a little bit more wordy as well when it comes back than you would typically use in a statement. But it lacks the sort of empathy and feeling that you would know, or emotion that you might put into the statement. How do you use it, Deb?
So I agree with everybody on the panel here. I think it's a great tool. I look at it as we've got a very lean team, right? So what sometimes when you don't have a lot of resources, you don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of. So I find it a very interactive tool that I never want to take it verbatim what they have, but it does help to spur new ideas even. And I'm like, ooh, I like that angle. Okay, I'm going to go here. Now take me down this path. And it's fun that way. And you start to kind of get some new ideas. But I never like the copy and the paste component, because you're right, there are certain elements, and especially in our industry, it's a very technical industry, and it's important that, you know, ChatGPT, I find, has difficulty with the complexities of the space, and so you can see it'll always return, you know, the top 3 uses of AI in manufacturing. You'll always get the same things, and so I think you have to have that insight in the industry as well to guide the actions of AI.
Yeah, you have to know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
So let's dive in a bit deeper and ask you which tools you're actually using. So Sherry, which AI tools do you use in your everyday work?
We've played around with a few different ones. We're looking at one specific, Perplexity, because it's closed source. Some of the common tools that you can get for free, it's open source AI, and in our industry, there's so much proprietary information that even if you send it out into an open source AI, you would like to think that your information isn't getting out there for someone to harvest. But the possibility is there. So if you make an investment in a good tool, a good AI tool, you get to keep that IP, and you don't have to worry about it so much.
Yeah. Pierre, what sort of tools are you using?
So we use ChatGPT. Mainly for translation, actually, because we have a lot of different languages that we have to support. We're doing business globally, and so it's much faster just to use ChatGPT to do a translation. Then you reread it, change and adjust, because obviously it's not perfect. So the human factor is still present, even for translation.
Well, and also the technical factor, because if you're using it for translation, you know, technical translation is a minefield, quite frankly.
Exactly, yes.
You've got to be very careful. You know, I learned this many years ago. We produced a German language brochure for a trade show, and it was a PCB trade show, and we got someone from the PCB industry to actually do the translation for us. And there was one person in the one company that was exhibiting who made bobbins for transformers. And of course that was nothing to do with the PCB industry really. And this guy got the translation completely wrong, and the word he put in actually turned out to be baby's pram. And I had 2 CEOs coming up after me. You know, they were absolutely livid, you know, that we've got the translation wrong. So it's an absolute minefield. So if you're using automation to do your translation, you need someone that really knows it, the technical terminology, to be able to check that thoroughly.
Yeah, indeed. And we could even say it's self-learning. You always have to check, because sometimes, even if you said it multiple times, this term translates like that in these languages, it doesn't work all the time. So you have to be careful.
Of course. Raquel, what tools do you use? What AI tools do you use in your work?
Okay, so I've been using ChatGPT for more time, but a couple of months ago I started using more Gemini and Microsoft Copilot and even Perplexity, just to compare the results. Of course, ChatGPT is more trained with my data, right? So it provides me, still provides me better answers than the rest of the tools. But they are really, they give you more or less the same. In the end, if you put the same prompt, you get more or less the same information, nothing much different. But one thing that we are investing right now is, okay, until now we have been working a lot in SEO for search engine optimization. Now we are developing the AIO, artificial intelligence optimization. So with this, the goal is to rank high in AI tools to influence the AI algorithm to come up with our content before, just like in Google.
Yes,
but
yes, yes.
in the AI tools like the Google AI as well. So this is what are we investing right now.
And so how are you doing that? I mean, you're trying to seed keywords and phrases into the system. Is that what you're doing?
It goes a bit beyond the keywords. That's the logic of SEO, right? It's
Yeah.
more about inserting data content itself to train and to feed these AI tools.
Right, okay. Deb, what are you using?
So I use ChatGPT primarily a lot. There's also, I think, every software tool that marketing uses has some layer of AI. They're trying to weed into it. I also find Sales Navigator Insights actually very helpful, more so from a personalization perspective for sales and our lead generation team as they're reaching out to help personalize and research accounts. Our marketing automation system has AI, but that's where I start to find some, I don't know if I trust that. And it's an interesting analogy because it all goes back to the data.
Yeah.
Just like in manufacturing, if the data isn't foundationally good, your AI isn't going to function. And that's just what I found too in our CRM systems. If the data isn't there, the AI comes back with very interesting, like I wouldn't trust that, what they're saying to me as far as, this account is focused on X, Y, and Z, and we know, otherwise. So it has been interesting to see AI, and I don't think I would ever let anything go out without like a human auditing those things because, while we want to do personalization at scale, and I'm still finding too many things to really trust,
Right.
that data yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So has anybody tried using AI tools beyond just the text-based ones? For things like creativity or video editing or anything like that, even to make little shorts for social media. Anybody use these kind of tools?
Not I've used, but results.
You've not found them very good yet. Yeah. They're not there
not
yet.
yet.
Yeah, they're not there yet. That's certainly been my experience.
I think the AI part of the video editing and things like that, you immediately go to deep fakes.
Yeah.
And how to manipulate things into something they're not. And I think it's got a very bad reputation because it's often nefarious. And that's typically the intent when you're trying to manipulate something like that, or commonly thought of the intent. You're trying to make something but I think you lose integrity that way. It's just like, I would love for you guys to AI this video and make me look, 20 years younger and, redo my headshot and all that. But it comes off as not authentic. And I think it'll be a long time before we use those type of things to build videos. And I think technical information, it's a lot easier to train it, and it becomes a lot more acceptable. So just as an example on the technical side that doesn't have anything to do with marketing, if you need to build a how-to manual, or a checklist for something, you can feed all of those details in, and it comes back with something that is in order. You still have to adjust because, but again, like everybody has said, the more you feed it, the more you teach
More intelligent it gets.
it gets better.
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll never get that good so that
That
we
it
still get to
replaces
hang
you.
around.
No, I think we're a long way from that, believe me. But it's interesting you touched on the topic of it being ethical, because my next question is, with AI-generated ads, deepfake influencers and automated content, where do marketers draw the line between innovation and deception? And what sort of guidelines should they follow? Pierre?
That's a very interesting question. I don't really know where to start to answer it. I'd like to rebound on what Sherry was saying about creation of content, visual content, for example. I did try to use it, and indeed, often it returns something awkward.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's still a lot of things to be done on the AI to be able to generate nice visual content. But as some other panelists said, it could bounce idea. So sometimes say, okay, I would like to express this in a graphical way. What would you propose? And the AI will just list some few things and ideas, and that could be very useful. But creating an image from scratch with an AI, we're miles away to have something reliable and trustable, which doesn't fall into the deep fake.
Yeah, yeah. I think the only time I've ever used it in that context, for an image, is I've created, done some logos and things like that, for some little projects, even for my tennis club or for different things, but not something I would necessarily use in my professional life, but that's what I've used it for. So let's stay on the topic though of the ethical reasons. I mean, do you have a view on the ethical reasons, Raquel?
I think we need to pay a lot of attention to, for instance, cultural differences. Depending on what you are searching for, the type of content you want to create, you need to pay much attention if it's not giving back something to you that can be perfectly acceptable for you if you look at it very fast and don't think much about it, but can be offensive or not good for
Correct.
somewhere else in the world or
Right.
someone right next to you.
Yeah.
This is a challenge without AI, but with AI it's very easy to fail in this
AI
track.
can also help you with that, because I mean, I think the first time I remember becoming aware of these things in marketing was when we first went to China. We learned that 8 was a lucky number and this kind of thing, and you had to try and involve these types of things into your messaging. That was the first time, but then of course every country has its own peculiar trends and things. But maybe AI can help you to research, what the good terms are, or the acceptable terms are, or the lucky terms are in Portugal. Interesting. Do you have any views on the ethical use of AI, Deb?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's always audit, validate, and making sure that you're not making claims that you can't back up. Like I said, I never take anything straight from ChatGPT and put that out there because, it can be, I don't want it to make claims about things that we don't do, but also I want it to be realistic as well. It is a great research tool, but then even then you still have to dig in and, okay, where did they get that? Is that a relevant source,
Yes.
or was that the only source that it could find, and that's what it's providing back. So I think it's always digging into, and it's nice they give you the sources where they find that stuff, and then whether that's going to be credible or not to rely on as well. So it's a huge shortcut from a research perspective. Love that too, because you're not going on certain sites that have no relevance but just happen to come up in search engine results too. But again, it's always validate and make sure that the information's
I can see, Sherry, you're about to say.
I just wanted to add something.
Yeah.
That when you're using ChatGPT or anything like that, or if anybody on your team is using it, you want to make sure that everybody is transparent about this is where this came from. You can't just use it and then take credit for all these great ideas. You can take credit for harnessing those ideas, but being transparent and authentic goes a long way to the ethics part of it.
Yes.
You want people to trust your integrity. So,
Absolutely.
so being transparent about, yes, we're using this tool, because I don't know about you guys, but I can spot a mile away. It's getting good and it's better, but if somebody turns something into me, a paper, an article, and I go, you didn't check this,
Yeah.
You did this. But it does go a long way of pulling, like you can feed it a technical paper that you want to turn into an article. And this is something that helps me a lot because of my limited staff.
Yeah.
That they can throw that technical article or a technical presentation that one of our very, very smart people did and boil it down and lay it out. I did a keynote for the STAR event up in Kansas City. I don't think it was last year. Well, maybe it was last year. And the topic was communication in this day and age.
Yeah.
And I ended my talk with talking about AI and how it fits in and everything. And so live, I went in to AI while I was standing there, and I let it write my conclusion to my presentation.
Oh, wow.
It was hilarious. But we all decided that my conclusion that I had pre-written was better than what AI did.
There you go.
But
Oh,
it was a live demonstration.
Yeah. Wow. That was a risky move, but obviously it validated you. I mean,
It was,
yeah.
It was, but it was pretty funny. But it made me look smarter, which is the purpose of this tool, right?
So how would you like to see AI developing? I mean, we're coming to an age now where DeepSeek, for example, has brought in some better reasoning, and reasoning seems to be the way that it's going forward. Sort of Amazon's system, not Siri. What is the Amazon Alexa? Has just come out with a much deeper AI version, which is. You ask it to plan a trip, and it can, put all the different components into it. So the reasoning factors are becoming stronger. How would you like to see it develop in such a way that it would help you better? Any thoughts?
That's a really hard question. I don't know
that
if
was
I
a human
want.
question. That wasn't an AI.
Yeah, I know. But you didn't use AI to develop these questions, did you, Trevor? I think personally, I think it'd be pretty cool. I was a travel agent in my former life, so asking AI to plan a trip for me, because I really don't want to do it.
Right.
I love going on trips, but I don't like planning
one of
them.
the examples I saw of the Alexa one was that you plan the trip, but it also tells you what the best restaurants are in that area and things to see and what
How
the
many
price of the
restaurants
tickets-
has AI eaten at? And that's my other problem with AI.
Yeah.
No sarcasm.
Sorry?
No sarcasm.
No sarcasm. Yeah, it's got no sense of humor.
How
has it?
boring.
No sense of humor at all
Yeah.
in AI either. That's very sad.
Yeah.
I think in terms of development in AI, it's a better learning curve to integrate the content that you feed, because, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes you keep on saying the same thing and it just completely changes it, and it's a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
So, but I think another thing would be for AI to teach us how to use the AI, how to prompt it better.
How to get the
Because
most out of it.
this is really, for me, the most important part. It's a tool. You need to learn how to use the tool. And I think that's where a lot of people fell in a trap, is not taking the time to learn how to prompt properly an AI.
Yeah.
So I think good development in the AI world would be really helping people to prompt better.
Yes. Yeah. Any thoughts on this, Raquel?
I would say so. A very useful part of the AI for me is for that tasks that take you a lot of time, very time consuming. You don't want to do it anyway. You don't like to do it. You don't add any value to it, like taking notes in a meeting. There are great AI tools that give you incredible. Of course, then you need to edit it, part of it. But the pre-work that's amazing. It can spare you 40 minutes, depending on the length of the meeting and on the topic of work. And for these kind of things, I think AI has been good, and it's pretty basic. So for this, for more relevance, I don't know. I would say I don't know if I like that idea of AI really getting better and better and start having some kind of conscience or whatever, and,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's coming. I think it will be very important technology-wise for many things. For instance, sustainability. I hope that at least with AI and all the technology out there, we can really make an impact and change what is happening,
Yes.
because it's going too fast and we are being too slow trying to, if we are trying to stop the what is happening with our planet. So for me, this is more personal than marketing related, of course.
Right, right,
But
right.
I would like to see involvements in that area.
Using it to help with some of the environmental issues we're facing. But it's interesting. You touched on a couple of points there. I mean, one way I use AI is in meetings. You know, we have our weekly meeting, but I always do our weekly meetings now on Zoom. Because the Zoom AI meeting note taker, if you like, is great. You know, it comes back. Of course, you have to check it. It doesn't get it accurate. You have to go through it, but then I can circulate the notes and say, well, so and so committed to doing this job. Committed, so and so is going to do that job, and then we can, you know, it's pretty good in that sense. I find it very, very, very helpful. Unfortunately, the CRM we use in that doesn't have that built in yet, but certainly that I use the AI tool for that. The other thing that you touched on as well, Raquel, is the speed of things that are happening, and it's not just happening in the environment; it's happening in our industry. The speed of introducing new products and bringing them to market is getting shorter and shorter all the time. And of course, as marketing professionals, you guys have got to get your messaging together quicker and be able to keep ahead of that. So you know, there's an issue there. So maybe AI is going to be more helpful in helping to take some of the load off in preparing these things.
But that's, if I may, we are making things faster with AI, even content creation, let's say. But then, what do we do with the time that we spare? Well, we work more.
You work more, yeah.
right? It is supposed to take the burn out of, right? But then you just keep, okay, I did this, let's do next, and so on. It's
well, you can do more technical stuff, you know, more challenging stuff. You know, I mean, that's the whole. That's how they use it on the factory floor. You know, they're using robots now to do the grunt work of taking components to the pick and place machines and things like that, which was previously done by a human. But that human is now going off doing more, you know, challenging tasks. So I'm guessing, you know. All right, last word to you, Deb.
So I think that, you know, I agree. We definitely have a lot of things that we're doing. It can accelerate. I find where it really helps a lot is the brainstorming element. Sometimes it might take me a day before I really warm up and get into that writing mode, where I like to do a lot of research first and try to kind of get some ideas, and then I'm ready to sit down. And sometimes I'll procrastinate because I can't get there. I do find that it helps accelerate that brainstorming process, and even if it gives me a skeleton that drives me to organize some of the thoughts that I'm having, I do find that that's super useful, whereas before I don't have the luxury of a day to do that, because you're getting hit with a bunch of different things, all never in line with I need a data sheet or I need presentation, and so you are constantly shifting gears. That it's hard to get that time momentum that you really need to be creative, and so it does help spawn some of that creativity. But that's where I've found the most use for that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think it's been a great debate we've had regarding AI and its use, and it's going to continue, obviously, for many years to come. I remember 2 years ago on this exact panel, my last question was what people thought about AI, and the panel all kind of had blank stares because nobody knew what the heck it was. And now, today, we've been able to talk about it extensively, you know, which is really interesting. But anyway, I want to thank you all for taking part. Sherry Stepp from Kaizen Corporation, Pierre-Jean Cancolon, from SM Tech. Yep. Raquel Madureira from Critical Manufacturing.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
And Deb Geiger from Aegis. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you very much to our audience for putting up with us and watching today.